Welcome to the deep dive. So our word today is chagrin.
Ah, yes. That feeling, frustration or annoyance when something fails or disappoints you.
Exactly. And that ties right into a question from your sources today. What's something you thought would bring joy, but, well, just ended up stressing you out instead?
Hmm. It's a really good question. It gets right to the heart of what we're exploring here.
It says,
Navigating disappointment, particularly in relationships, loyalty, even when maybe those feelings aren't reciprocated.
okay, yeah, that sounds complex. So your sources dive into this.
They do. They talk about realizing someone close might be dealing with, well, significant challenges. One source actually calls it baggage.
Baggage. Okay, we've all encountered that, I think.
Right. And there's that pull, that desire to support them, help carry it.
But it's not always that simple.
No, not at all. The sources really stress how tough it is to truly fix someone else's issues and, the need to maybe proceed carefully.
Take it slow, perhaps.
Yeah,
Especially if the relationship matters.
exactly. If it's worth preserving, as one source puts it, it's described as a delicate situation.
Delicate. And you mentioned something about relationships not always being all or nothing.
Yeah, that's another interesting point. You might not be like the absolute center of this person's world.
But you're still asked to kind of hang in there,
Hang on to it for as long as possible. Yeah, even in a more maybe peripheral role.
which leads to this idea of protecting someone, even if they don't feel the same way back.
Precisely. It's quite compelling. One source explicitly says they're protecting what I can for someone who feels like is worth protecting, even if the feeling is not reciprocal.
Wow, that's quite a statement. Why do that?
Well, the source links it to just purely being a human, like it's this fundamental impulse.
What a human thing to do.
Okay.
But there's a risk, isn't there?
Oh, definitely. The sources acknowledge that. There's this worry about good intentions, maybe,
Hmm.
leading somewhere bad.
Like led to a disastrous ending, as one put it, even when you're trying to protect what seems important.
Exactly. It's that potential downside. And it gets even more layered.
How so?
Well, past experiences come into play. Someone mentions feeling like they need to do this because my friends had done it in the past for me.
Oh, okay. A sense of obligation.
Uh,
Or paying it back.
or maybe even repenting. They ask, I feel like I'm repenting that I didn't help someone in the past. Is that selfish?
That adds a whole different dimension. It makes you question the motivation, doesn't
Uh,
it? Is it truly for them or something else?
It really complicates things. And that complexity, that navigating difficult emotional territory, it brings us nicely to our quote of the day.
Right. This one's from Mary Tyler Moore. You can't be brave if you've only had wonderful things happen to you.
Which fits perfectly, I think. Facing these challenging relationship dynamics, the possibility of chagrin or disappointment, that requires a certain bravery, doesn't it?
It really does. So, wrapping this up, we've kind of circled around this core tension
Yeah, the challenges of loyalty, dealing with that baggage, the messiness when feelings aren't mutual.
and the fact that even with the best intentions, things might not work out. The potential for disappointment is always there.
Always lurking. We've seen the drive to protect this purely human act, but also the doubts, the past experiences influencing it.
So maybe the final thought for you, listening, is something prompted by these sources. When you find yourself protecting someone, especially if those feelings aren't quite returned, is there a point where it stops being purely about them and starts becoming more about, well, your own needs? Or maybe your own past?
That's a deep one. Something to definitely mull over.
Indeed. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.